Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I also have another channel called Latina Diaspora where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. The link to the channel is in the description. I want to let everybody know that tonight I'm live on YouTube and Facebook, and the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes. Meaning, if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. First of all, I just want to say Happy Three Kings Day or Feliz Dia de los Reyes Magos. And for those of you who are not familiar with what is the meaning behind Three Kings Day, it's otherwise known as the Feast of the Epiphany. It is the biblical account where the wise men came bearing gifts to the baby Jesus in the form of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Okay, and in Latin American countries, it's a big it is a big holiday, particularly for the children, because children get to receive toys and things of that nature. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who've already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or recently joined, I really appreciate your love and continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. You will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So, tonight's topic is going to be how to approach 2026. Actually, it could be best applied to how to approach the new year. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about how, in my humble opinion, you should approach each new year, not just 2026. And of course, this year started out, with a big bang with the fact that our armed forces, I'm going to say, euphemistically speaking, arrested Maduro of Venezuela and his wife and brought them to the United States for trial. And of course, we have our first Muslim mayor in New York City. So, we're going to talk about how to approach the new year. But before we do that, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, if you happen to be a Baltimore Ravens fan, first of all, you have my complete sympathy regarding the way the team lost and got eliminated from the playoffs in the fashion it was played. But there was some ugly things that happened um, immediately after the game. First of all, um, let me just paint you the scenario, okay? They had a rookie place kicker called Tyler that attempted to make a 44-yard field goal, which, if he was successful, he would have defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they would have been the AFC North Division champions. Unfortunately, he kicked the football to the right side of the goalpost, and as a result, the Baltimore Ravens lost the game. they also lost the division, and they also lost the possibility of getting into the playoffs. Now, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. If you can only see the facial expression of Tyler Loop after he missed that field goal, it really broke my heart. Okay, and I'm glad to see that is the one that was holding the ball for him came and console him. Now, what happened was, unfortunately, he has been the victim of a lot of hate by the so-called Baltimore Raven fans. Okay, so there's been a lot of memes made about him. That left a whole bunch of nasty comments, not only about him, but also regarding his fiance. Okay, um, in fact, due to all the heat that has been getting, he had to like turn off the comments in his social media and remove his fiance pictures from his social media. All in an attempt to protect her and to protect her peace of mind. Okay? Now look, I get it. These people, they get paid hundreds, millions of dollars a year to play football. And obviously the expectations are high, okay, that they perform well. Unfortunately, Tyler Loop had a bad evening. Unfortunately, due to the timing, it happened at an inopportune time. But to be sending him death threats to him, to be sending him death threats to his fiance, it's way out of line. It's way out of line. Okay, my heart goes out to him. I do hope that he gets there. That gets some therapy. I see that he is a Christian, so at least he knows that he who he can go to um, to bring healing of the scars. Now, in this sad episode, there was some positive things that did happen. First of all, um, John Harper, who was the coach of the Baltimore Ravens, escorted him off the field. Okay, and he defended his kicker, and he said that they will deal with the adversity as a team. Another thing has happened is that he's taken over his social media, and he's actually approached the legal department of the Baltimore Ravens to undergo any legal action against those people who are making death threats regarding Tyler Lue. Okay, he does had. He just had a bad moment. I'm sure he didn't wake up. I'm sure he didn't wake up and with the idea I'm going to purposely miss. He did his best, and unfortunately, his best was not successful. It happens like it happens in life. There are times when we are placed in high pressure situations, and we do our best, and unfortunately, sometimes we fail. Guess what? We're human. We're gonna make mistakes. The only one that's gonna be perfect is God Almighty. So a huge shout out to John Harbaugh for being supportive for his uh, kicker, and huge shout out to Tyler Loop as well because he took accountability for his actions, and you have to respect someone that had gone through a horrible experience like he did, speaking to the media and taking accountability for his actions. So, continuing on to football, it was announced that they have fired, but I will say this much: he did win a Super Bowl with the team years ago, and he had a very successful career. Unfortunately, the team went through a lot of adversity. They started the season 1-5, and the next 10 games it was 7-3. So, um, you, you know, you don't lose a game based on one person, and you don't win a game based on one person. It's a team effort. So good luck to John Harbaugh. I'm sure he's going to get another coaching job. I mean, and I think the team will benefit from his experience, particularly the fact that he actually coached the Baltimore Ravens um, to win the Super Bowl. Something that it's not easy to do because you got to depending on where you in the seats. You got to win 3 or 4 games in the playoffs in order to win to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Not every coach can. There are very few coaches that can say that they actually won a Super Bowl, and some of them they were great. It's they never able to win the Super Bowl. Now the other thing I want to talk about is today is my younger brother's birthday. Okay, my brother Jesus or other. Let me just show his picture. Today's his birthday. He would have been 61 today. Unfortunately, he passed away um, 12 years ago this month due to cardiac arrest. Now, my brother, so I just want to say, brother, happy heavenly birthday to you. And may he rest in peace. Okay. Ugh. Okay. My I accidentally hit the intro video, but in any case, now we're going to go to the next topic. Now, before I continue, let me just say that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding the topic for tonight, they may do so. However, if I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage for the following reason. I want to make sure that no one tries to flash any adult related material which will cause the people of YouTube to take down their stream. Now, once I see that you're not going to try to do anything like that, then I'll let you in on the panel. Okay. And it is unfortunately, I got to go through this every time, but unfortunately, there are people that are sick that will want to flash pornographic images. Now, as far as how to approach, in this case, it's 2026, but it could be applied to every new year. One thing to bear in mind that as you go through the entire year, you know that you're gonna have different types of moments. You're gonna have happy moments. You're gonna have real wonderful memories, and you're gonna have moments that you're gonna wish that never occurred. Now, of course, how people approach the new year, would depend on the individual. There are those who look forward to the new year because it's a new year of adventure, a new year of opportunities, a new year for growth, a new year to learn things, new year to to encourage, pursue new endeavors and things of that nature. And then there's some people who fear the new year. Part of the reason why they fear is that they fear the unknown. They feel what's going to happen in the year. And sometimes they think about some of the difficult moments that happened in the previous year and automatically assume that it's going to repeat itself. Okay. One thing that I am a firm believer of is the power of confession. You confess something, you bring life into it. Okay. Let me just give you an example. Uh, let's say one day I get up and I say to myself, today's going to be a wonderful day. Today's going to be a good day. I'm going to be successful in what I do. I'm going to not let anything keep me from becoming successful, and I'm going to do everything I can do. Many of the times, when you approach the day in that format, you're going to be successful. Now, at the same time, if you wake up in the day and you're like, oh, today's going to be a crummy day. It's raining. It's cold. I'm not going to be able to do anything. What happens is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the same thing could be said when it comes to the year. Now, this is how um, I approach every new year. There's going to be various moments. I know there's going to be various things. There's going to be some events which I'm going to enjoy. There's going to be some situations, some difficulties that I may have to face. Also, I realize that there may be some pleasant surprises. Okay. So the way I approach every new year is I look at it this way. Each day, something different is going to happen. Each day. Each single day, something's gonna happen. Not 2 days are gonna be the same. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of good that's gonna happen in a year. A lot of good. I mean, first of all, you'll have parties to attend to, you have social functions to attend to. You may go on trips and things of that nature, and you look forward to it. And of course, you realize that there's going to be, in every year, there's going to be some difficult moments. In every year, every year you're going to deal with people, all types of people. Some people are going to be an extreme blessing, okay, as far as be able to fellowship, share share beliefs, share experiences, and things of that nature. And you're going to deal with a couple of people that's going to really, really, really going to, test your patience and really make it hard, make it hard to be tolerant with some people. Hurt people hurt people. And what I mean by that, people who have trauma that they haven't dealt with, people that gone through pain, okay, and they haven't done anything to try to seek healing. So what they sometimes they do, and sometimes they feel like the only way that they can maintain a high self-esteem is by putting people down, or by being negative, by being narcissistic, by being impossible. Believe me, every year, I deal with people. I deal with all types of people. Many of them are, and some bless their hearts. It's almost like God put these people there to try to increase your patience. So you can have a certain, be cautious without having a lot of, without having, not being overly fearful regarding the year. Okay. And maybe you dealt with a serious illness. Maybe you've been heartbroken and with the fact that a romantic relationship ended, and there's or maybe a marriage that ended in divorce, and there's a lot of scars involved. And sometimes when you're going through um, a great deal of pain, when you've gone through a great deal of trauma, what it does, it tends to color your judgment, and then you start to question whether or not things are going to get better. Well, things will get better, okay, but you have to have a healthy mindset. Okay. And of course, there'll be times in the year, particularly if you've gone through trauma, if you've gone through a loss, if you've gone through disappointments, sometimes you need therapy. And there is no shame. Okay. Now I know in certain generations we're taught that if you try to seek therapy, if you admit that you have that you're not well mentally, people tend to assume that you're crazy. No. Okay. when you are able to realize that you have a problem, that you need help, that's half the battle right there. Okay, because the fact of the matter is, when you're able to come to that realization, then you're open to deal with, you know, the, open to the healing process. Excuse me. My apologies. I usually don't text. It does that. Someone gave me a message, so I just had to respond. But but the fact that you have enough self awareness of where you're weak, that shows a high level of maturity in your part. Okay. Now, of course, when now in order to have a healthy approach regarding each coming year, look at it in this fashion. You're gonna have 365 days or 366 days in a year if it's a leap year. No one day is going to be the same. Okay? And also look at it as a learning experience. Okay? And let me explain what I mean by that. When you are able when you're able to go through every day and self evaluate and see, okay, and then you learn, and then you develop, and then you adapt, it makes it easier for you to deal when you have to deal with the difficult moments. Okay. Now, the year 2020 was a very rough year for billions of people. Okay. And the reason why 2020 was so difficult, because we dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic. We were dealing with a major health crisis, where people were coming down with this terrible disease. Hundreds of thousands of people in this country passed away, and things of that nature. And we didn't have a cure, and we didn't know how to deal with it. And of course, the CDC, um, you know, was constantly changing, updating regarding what we should do and shouldn't do. And of course, we couldn't gather in large crowds. I mean, we couldn't go to the theater, we couldn't go to the beach, we couldn't go to the park. Um, we had to wear face masks. We had to practice social distancing. We had to like wash our hands 20 seconds. Okay. And 2020 was a difficult time. I mean, particularly it was a difficult time for me because I experienced the death of two people that was very close to me. January, at the beginning of the year, my oldest sister passed away from stage 4 lung cancer. And then 6 months later, while I'm still dealing with her loss, my mother passed away. After being in a vegetative coma for a couple of weeks, and of course, not be able to gather with family on Christmas Eve, that was very depressing. So obviously, I was happy that 2020 passed. Did I have concern about 2021? Yes, but things got better. Um, they did come up with vaccines, albeit controversial for many people. I took the vaccines, and I've gone through a lot of virtual meetings and things of that nature, and things got better. And then finally, we got to the point where we were able to go to the theater, things of that nature, and I was able to fly and things. No, so things got better. Okay. One thing to bear in mind is that things eventually do get better. So, so I'm going to give you some things to consider, and then I'll probably stop to wrap this up. Number one, do not bring your trauma from the previous year to the new year. Leave leave the traumas of the previous year in the past. No matter what happened, learn to leave the emotional garbage of the past. And if you have problems um, letting go, if you have problems um, with whatever trauma that you go through, that you've gone through, get help, get therapy. Number one. Number two, God won't give you more than what you can be, which that you can bear. Now it sounds easier for me to say this because I'm a Christian, but it's true. And even in your most difficult, painful situations, there are people in your life that's going to be um, a source of encouragement. God's going to put people in life to encourage you, to motivate you, to let you know that things are going to get better. Number three, things will get better. Okay? Even in the most darkest night, the sun will rise tomorrow. Okay? Even if you've gone through um, a lot of pain, a lot of grief, and you are wondering whether things will get better, they will. And learn from your mistakes, because once you're able to learn from your mistakes, the next time that you deal with similar situations, you'll be better prepared to deal with those situations because you will have the knowledge, you will have the wisdom to deal with them. And believe me, you will not make the same mistake again, hopefully. Okay. So, and take advantage of the year to learn to learn a new hobby. Okay, maybe it could be developing a green thumb. Maybe it could be learning a language. It could be learning how to paint. It could be learning how to improve your cooking skills. There's a lot of opportunities that come in every year. But the most important thing, value each day. Value each day that you are alive. Because one thing we have to bear in mind, tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And I learned that particularly going into 2020, um, I didn't think I'll be going to two funerals in 1 year. I didn't think I'd be going to two funerals within 6 months in my family. Unfortunately, it happened. What has done is it made me to appreciate the family that I have left. It made me to appreciate the friends that I have left. It made me to appreciate all those all those people who've been supportive of me, who encouraged me, who are correcting me when I screwed up, and learned not to take anyone for granted. Because I have known people that had retired, and in less than 2 years they're gone. Who knows what type of illnesses and trauma that they gone through? And learn how to value life. Learn how to value your life, and learn how to value yourself, because you are wonderfully, beautifully made in the image of God Almighty. Do all these things, then you'll be able to approach each year with a certain amount of wisdom, opportunities, and learning experiences as well. So, with that being said, being that no one is going to hit the panel, I guess I might as well start to wrap this up. But I will be live this Friday at 10:30 p.m. Okay, where with another episode of open discussion. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what happens in open discussion, basically I will discuss my views on several topics, and of course, those who are in the chat, will have an opportunity uh, to opine regarding the topics which I will talk about. Also, you'll have an opportunity to put down suggestions of topics that you want me to talk about, and I will do my best to comply. Certain topics um, I may not be all that familiar with, so I'll be transparent and state so. And of course, there's some topics I will not discuss because I really don't want to get into it. No offense to those that do. They can run their platforms whatever way they see fit. To me, I will run my platform as I see fit. And from what I gather, it looks like I'm doing a decent job. Okay. Last year, I actually gained 990 subs, which is like incredible considering the beginning of a year ago, I was at 501. Now I'm at 1,520. Not bad for someone that's supposedly all senile, lonely guy. But hey, if that's gonna help you get through the night, so be it. So, and of course, I'll be thinking about my lives for next week. Um, with that being said, I would encourage you, if you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel and share. Please talk to others about my channel and encourage them to subscribe. And of course, hit the like button, set the notifications to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So I do just hope that my little live was a benefit to you. I think it was. And of course, the playback end, you're more than welcome to enter whatever your comments. And generally, I do not delete comments unless it's like incredibly insensitive, insane, or moronic. Okay, and yeah, I do, and I do accept criticism from now and then. So we're gonna end the same way that we always end. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. And of course, whatever we say or do, we should do to the glory of God. With with that being said, I thank you very much for your attention. I thank you all those who caught it live. I thank you all those that are going to watch this on the playback tomorrow night or Thursday night. My next live will be on Friday. So, with that being said, I would like to wish all of you a very wonderful good night. Take care, stay blessed, and peace.